And he was telling me, when you'll be a father, you'll realize it goes so fast. Go for it.
To put people uncomfortable,
sales.
I love it. It's just you ask a question and you let the person like whatever dig the hole. I'm champion of digging my own holes, but allegedly.
So first and foremost, I would like to introduce you in a way because you're actually probably is he? Yes, you are the oldest friend that came on the pod. So you know things. You've seen versions
Yes,
of me
absolutely.
that people only heard of.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, the nice guy?
oh, we're gonna have fun.
I
the
was
fighter.
innocent when I met him.
Oh, the
We're gonna
fighter.
have fun.
I was
I've
very-
seen
Yes.
I've seen that transformation, right? I've seen when we were just little kids going to Coccinelle Park, and he was one hell of a baller. He was really good. One hell of a baller. I had my hook shot. You remember my hook shot?
This guy was a classic basketball player.
Yeah, I had my
Definitely
hook
an old school type
Yeah.
of basketball.
Yeah.
Back in the day, he was already old
Yeah.
school.
Mr. Fundamentals. He didn't do much, but what he did perfectly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This is it.
It was crazy.
Like you have 3 moves, but your moves are
Yeah.
so perfect.
And
But-
this is something because you are a parent, 4 kids,
Yep.
mashallah.
Thank you.
With twins.
Yeah.
How old
You're-
are they, if you don't mind?
My oldest is turning 8 in June. The twins are 6, and my princess is 2. Yeah.
He has a little tiny princess
You
too.
do?
Yeah, just 5. She's 5 years old, so.
Yeah, well, there's not a big. And then I have my giraffes.
Yeah.
But there's something special about a father and a daughter. It's really a special bond.
What did I tell you when I found out the mother of his kids was pregnant? I was like, I hope you have a daughter first. The
I expected
process-
a daughter. For me, I always knew
you?
I would have
Yeah.
a daughter first.
Yet there's only one daughter in your family and 3 boys.
Yeah, my sister, yeah.
So you wanted to break the.
Also, you're a family of 4 too. Like you have.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
3 brothers.
3
like,
brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember how many.
Sister. One sister.
Older one, huh? That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's crazy when you have a daughter, how it humbles you first. And your approach to life, your vision completely shifts. You try your best, and you'll see it more and more as she grows, that you're always going to try to be that version that you hope she eventually dates.
Yep.
That example, I've been doing a really bad job. Well, she doesn't know that
Stop
version.
it. Stop
She
it.
doesn't know that version.
exactly.
She doesn't watch it, but for now.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, there's going to be changes on that too. But he was on, because again, at that age, we were what? We had to be around 17, 18.
So when I met you, I was probably 14, and you're probably 16.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 years.
2 years, 2 years
between us.
difference.
Yeah. And then we kept every summer, like we'd lose contact in the winter a
Yeah.
bit, school.
Always.
Right? But then in the summer, we'd like hang out the whole summer.
And he
Like,
would always have a new nice car. I never understood why. I never
How?
asked questions.
Never asked how?
Never asked questions.
See, exactly. There's certain
You don't
things
ask
we-
questions. I just
Yeah,
know he's
those
a hard worker.
Lebanese, how believe.
Again, I don't know what, but the end result, or not the end result, the result right now is like he was probably one of the only guys I knew younger that I wasn't worried about. I knew he was.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, he's gonna-
fine.
But you know, life. I mean, thank you. I know you're giving me a lot of credit, and I appreciate it. But there was a lot of bumps.
Oh, I
on the
believe
way,
it.
right?
But you made it look good.
Well,
You made it look
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And I don't say this often, huh?
Yeah, I
but
appreciate
like
that.
I said, with you, regardless of, and again, everybody goes through trials and
Yeah,
tribulations, right?
absolutely.
But you made it look good in the sense that I've never met, and I'm not saying this because you're here. I don't give compliments usually that often.
Thank you.
But this guy was focused. When I mean focused, not only that he saw it, he believed, and he made people believe in it, regardless of what it was.
But that's the key, though. Like,
Yeah, but he was young. Like we were young and innocent. The only thing we were thinking about is play basketball. That's pretty much how I met
Yeah.
him on a basketball court.
Yeah.
but how did it came about? Like, were you your same person that pushing yourself, or was family, or was when I say family, not only parents, but you sometimes you have the entire family. You have an uncle that is like really driven.
Yeah.
You spend summers at his place. You're like, oh, like that's what I want. So
Yeah.
what was it?
That's a great question. I think it was a combination of many things.
You got bullied.
Are are you an immigrant or are you born here?
No. I'm born in the States.
In the state, exactly. Okay, so that's it. So I came. We immigrated in 1988. I was 7.
Oh shit! 2 years before me.
Yeah, I was 7, and
Here in Montreal, straight up.
Montreal. Yeah, exactly. Montreal, Laval, and the reason we came here is because of the French. Lebanon was an a little bit like an ex-French colony. So French is actually a official language. So it was between Paris and here, and we came here because we had family. That's how, right? Lebanon had just came out of war, and it wasn't really a great place to go. So, and then what was.
But you're Christian, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think what was the root, the driver to success was all the sacrifices that my parents did. And in my head, I'm like, shit, it would suck, right? They left behind everything, right? They left behind like my mom. My father at least had a brother here, had an aunt, my mom had nobody, like zero. Like when you talk about being dropped in the middle of an ocean and there's no one you know, that was actually my mom. And she never complained. She did it for us. And in my head, I'm like, man, that would suck. Like it would suck like if after all of this, right?
You come a bum.
Exactly. Literally, right? And
Usually I don't blame usually the first generation, especially when you knew the before, and because what I realized that the first generation the first immigrant actually came from good family,
stable families.
Stable family. Like
yes.
for us,
yes.
My dad, we were okay in Cameroon. My dad was already there. My mom was there. They were separated, but we came. It wasn't that. And all the Africans that I've met were all son of a diplomat, ambassador, like all this. Like
because it was a privilege to be able to leave the country.
Exactly.
Keep it in mind.
That's what I never saw those African like people that are actually find it hard. But at the same time, when you came here, like for me, like I came here, it was like, oh, this is not my place. I mean, this is not my country. Like I really, nobody told me that, but I was like, okay, so I'm on my own now. I have my brother. I have to take care of my brother. Yeah. I'm the second, but I was always acting like I was the first. And I'm like, I got to take care of the family, blah, blah, blah. Probably the same with your sister. Like she's a girl, she's older, but I still have to be.
Absolutely.
So what was, when you got here first, like those years, what's the date? Exactly the same day that you landed here.
So we landed August.
Usually you don't forget the date.
August 6, 1988. August 6, 1988.
July 2nd, 1990.
Yeah. So July 2nd, yep.
December 5th, 2001.
Oh, you came directly winter.
Okay, but see, you came older, right? You said
16.
That's it. So I came a kid. I came when I was 7, right? You were what, around
12.
10? Sister. So for me, obviously the initial shock is big.
Yeah.
But the integration is so much quicker. Right, the younger you are, the more it's easier for you to kind of integrate.
But you came directly to Laval, but you had family here, right?
We had an uncle. Yes.
You had cousins your age, or give or take?
Yes, one cousin. Yes, okay. I had 2 cousins. One was a bit younger. One was my age.
Okay.
Right, but we didn't go to the same school, so it was really.
Did you speak French when you arrived?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because like I told you.
You didn't have to go to Accueil.
No, because I learned French here.
No, exactly. So I didn't do Accueil.
I did.
No. So for me, I don't know what Accueil is. I never did it. We came. Yeah, I heard stories, and maybe
they're mostly true.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I don't know if I'm fortunate or not fortunate, but no, I didn't do Accueil. Came here. We spoke French right away. Sorry, we spoke French, so we went to school right away. It's funny, and it kind of justifies the love that we have for sports, but hockey is what allowed me to like integrate quickly.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Me, it was basketball. Imagine that.
Yes, no, but I mean, basketball is a sport that I played and I loved. But I went to a school where the Canadians,
rich French Canadian,
exactly.
That's it. I didn't have that luxury. I was among immigrants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Classe d'accueil, right?
There you go.
And because nobody played soccer then.
Yes.
Football.
Of course.
So I was like, if I wanted to make friends, I needed to find the other sport. And the other poor man's sport is basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need somewhat of a hoop and a ball. And that's pretty much all.
Exactly. Yep. You play with Converse.
So we actually have the same story, but in completely different
settings.
Because I didn't speak French at all. When I read, you spoke French,
which is surprising. Algerians, most of them.
No, you have to understand one thing. So I'm born in the States.
Yes, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
So I was in the States all the way to age 7.
Of course, yeah, of course.
And I only spoke Berber and English
Yes.
at home. Then I went to Algeria for 5 years. When I arrived to Algeria, I didn't speak Arabic. And my father was working in the capital. And in Algeria, there's no classe d'accueil. So they just throw you in class. And
it
now
out.
all of a sudden it's going from left to right to left. Right? It's not even the same alphabet. And my mom doesn't speak Arabic. My father does, but he's working like crazy because he was studying in the States. That's why I'm born in the States. So I arrive in Algeria and he's like, yo,
Figure it out.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And that was probably the first time I felt so much hate and jealousy by people, but I didn't understand it. Because they used to call me the American. Because I was born in the States, for whatever reason, they thought I chilled with fucking Sylvester Stallone and Arnold. I have no idea why.
Absolutely.
And they would always try to bully me. And young, especially, you met me skinny.
But you come to those schools were like high standing type of private school. And
No,
stuff
no,
like
no, no, no. I never did private in my life.
Never.
So when we arrived to Algeria, we were poor. Keep in mind, my father just got his job. He just finished studying for 12 years. He finished with 2 doctorates, 3 masters. He's
Like
a
a
super
real-
nerd.
like a real
He's a
G.
super nerd. No, but my father was another level. He wrote books and everything like that. So he was poor. You know those smart people that are poor? So when he came to Algeria, he started his career. He just had me that turned 7, and then my mom got pregnant with my brother. We have 7 years difference.
Yes, I remember. Of course.
She was pregnant. So my brother was conceived. I was conceived in Algeria,
Born in the States.
born in the States, and my brother was conceived in the States,
Born here.
born in Algeria.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. When you guys went.
So-
yeah.
So he's not technically American?
No,
Your brother.
no. He's born. It's where you're.
No,
you
no,
come
I
out.
tell you what, no.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
your parents they weren't friend, like they didn't have the green card or whatever.
I do. No. They my father had his.
His student visa or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
it.
Yeah.
I have my green card. Like I can become president for the United
Of course,
States.
because you're
I'm born
there.
in the States.
Do you still have it? Like, do you have
It's
your...
expired. It's been over 15
yeah,
years
yeah.
because my Canadian one pretty much outplays it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when I got to Algeria, we were poor. And my father had to work to build his reputation and, build the money. So we were regular school. Like my brother and my sister did private school. I did.
You
Ghetto
paved,
school.
You paved the way
You
for that.
paved, no, literally. He paved the way.
And
You
another
paved
thing
the
that
way.
really shocked me about Algeria, except the culture and everything, because I went to Algeria maybe twice between the age of 0 to all the way to 7. I went once at 3 years old for my circumcision. So that traumatized me right there. Don't have the
You got
best.
circumcised at 3?
Yeah. Because they didn't want to do it in
That's violent.
Yeah, very violent.
Oh.
Yeah, and like my feelings towards
Damn.
Algeria weren't the greatest.
Yes.
I go there and I come back
Wow.
skinnier,
And by,
like
exactly,
lighter.
by a guy named Mohammed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, I don't know. I just remember I had a dress and everybody was giving me candy and
Candy
money,
or whatever.
and I'm like, shit, this is the day. And then I went to the butchery, so I'm like, fuck yeah. And then I went back, I think, at 6, a year before coming back for my uncle's wedding. So everybody spoke.
And you haven't gone since?
No, but that was before going and living in Algeria.
Got it.
So when I got to Algeria, straight off the bat, so I speak a little bit of Berber, but now I'm in an Arabic city. Don't speak the language, don't understand the alphabet. All of a sudden, it's all these new things. Soccer's the thing, cartoons from French channels. So me, there was a period of adaptation that I did not have the luxury of. Plus, add to that, teachers beat their students.
Yep.
Something
Yep.
I didn't know.
I think all of us know this. I think
Well,
all
I
of
lived
us-
it. I don't know if you know it.
No,
but
but
Oh,
lived
I
it
got
too in
bit
Saudi.
up, yo.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, I'm not born in Lebanon. I'm born in Saudi,
Oh,
right? That's a whole different...
so you have your papers there too.
No, I can't. I need to be Muslim.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, in Saudi. So at my 18, so when I was born,
What were you doing there?
my father.
Working?
Yeah. My father was I was engineer,
And you can't have your papers because you're not Muslim.
100%. So at my
We can
18
fix that. It's just a sentence.
Yeah, exactly.
For the papers.
And I mean, but seriously, guys, why would I want Saudi papers?
I heard the quality of life right now is at its peak.
Yes, right now.
Right now.
With the prince. But I mean, yeah, that's a whole different.
He's young. He's what, 36, 38?
He's probably a couple years younger. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have, a couple of...
Couple of
Yeah,
years
exactly.
before the Americans come
would you
and
go
remove
back?
them.
No.
No? Do you have good memories of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have bad memories. And
Would you
and
stay in Canada? Despite where you want, like,
So it's interesting, and I love how this conversation is going. Right before COVID,
Yeah.
I was one of the biggest defenders of this country. Really,
You said before COVID.
before COVID.
Okay.
You're not the only one.
I was
I was on that same boat as you, buddy.
right. Like I was defending and Canada and with all its
It also kind of gave you what you have right now, so you can. It was.
Of course,
I mean,
yes.
before
I love
like
that.
you
Yes.
like. They gave me the chance to become who I became.
Yes, I have a lot of issues with people that literally get built in a place and get and have all the benefits that a place has to offer, education, whatever, and then once they make it, they spit on the place. You can not like things about where you've grown up, but to forget, like I will never forget. Like as a person of Lebanese descent, this country gave me way more opportunities than Lebanon would have ever given me, even if I was born there and I was raised there. So I can never turn my back on that. I'm very
Until
grateful,
COVID.
right? But there was something that happened at COVID, which I think we lived it here, but I think the majority of the Western world has lived it too, right? It's like, you know that expression, an individual is smart, society is dumb? I think COVID accentuated that to a point where you couldn't even have a conversation anymore, right? Like for example,
There's from some subject.
no, but you know what? So there was something that I was hoping I would get the chance to talk about today, and I think we've segued into it. Why are we boxing people? Why is it that? So I'll give you an example. If you are on the political spectrum on the left, if you're more socialist, then automatically it means that on a variety of subjects you're going to agree on, right? So I mean, our prime minister, right? And I'm gonna stay polite, right? Went on
Fuck
a
him.
show. I think it was 2-3 years ago on Bye Bye Bonani. You know that French show we have, where he literally said the fucking leader of 40 million people said that the majority of people that don't have their COVID vaccine are the misogyne racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, guys, this is important. Like, we need to take a step back here.
I was one of them. I was the misogyne and racist.
But what I'm saying, and which is funny because you're black.
Yeah.
Right? So, but what I'm saying is, like, this is, like, the only reason I got my jabs, the only reason is because feeding my kids was threatened.
Yeah.
Right? And as a father, nobody's gonna stop me from feeding my family and doing what's right for my family.
Well, they're changing it.
So my what I believed in took a side when it came to my kids. I couldn't travel, and my work is 90% traveling, right? My wife didn't take it while she was pregnant with my daughter, and I really supported that. And it got so bad that even within family, and I won't go in details out of respect for my wife, but we have family members that stopped talking to us because they knew that we weren't vaccinated.
There was a lot of separation
Right?
among family members.
But what
because
I'm
of that.
saying is, and so we were labeled anti-vaxxers, right? Like, but it's interesting because I'm like, wait a minute. So the definition of anti-vaxxer means that you don't believe in any vaccine.
Bingo.
My kids have all of their vaccines, all the vaccines that have been proven for years, right? One of my sons is on the autism spectrum, and he still got his vaccines. Like what I'm saying is, wait a minute. So everything that we've done before, where we relied on science and believed in science, that all went out of the window because we questioned one vaccine that was conceived in 9 months, where, by the way, not a lot of people know that, when they were giving it to the masses, it was still in experimental phase. Like, if people read the fine print, it was clearly written, right? You are in experimental phase, and all governments in the Western world signed, on behalf of all of us, waivers that says that even if you die from it, you can't sue the company.
And they kept the paper locked for 75 years.
But all of that, we're supposed to accept it with a smile. And if you questioned it, right, you were boxed. So this is my biggest issue. So remember when you and I chatted and I told you, I'm like, I just want to have conversation with open-minded people, even if all three of us disagreed on everything we spoke about today. But we still exchange and argued and tried to exchange ideas. My social goal, right? What I'm trying to really, like, something that I've taken upon myself is I want to fight extremism. And
From both sides.
so no, so let me
But
explain
extremism is on both sides
Exactly.
automatically.
But let me tell you what for me extremism is. Unfortunately, the media hijacked extremism, and when you hear that word, you automatically think of an airplane going into a building or somebody with a bomb strapped to his
Yeah,
chest.
you people cousins. Yeah.
Right? Oh, he's poking. I love it. I love it. But
I used to.
yeah, but extremism is actually it's a mental thing before anything. When somebody becomes extreme, it means that their thoughts, right? Their thought became so. There's no more room for even a slight percent, 1% that I may be wrong. Right? It's like you think that what you know is the absolute truth to a point where you don't even want to entertain that you may, at a minuscule cosmic level, be wrong. And that is something that really, really scares me.
So wait, can I ask you a question though? Do you feel that those people could be, I'm not going to use the word saved, but could
That was
be,
exactly the same question that I had.
but
No.
it's not saved,
Not
but
them.
could be educated in a way to come back into the balance of equilibrium of it all.
That is a great question. I don't think so. But what I'm trying to do is save the collateral damage, the people around them.
Okay.
Or they can hit the wall, and from hitting that wall, they might realize that maybe they
I
were
think
wrong.
so too. I think so. So sometimes people, but like, look, I don't know how political you want to get here, right?
Oh, we can go as
Right?
deep as you want.
So obviously, we all know what's happening in the Middle East, right? We all know in Gaza what's happening. And I clearly don't give a shit where you stand on the political spectrum of things. These are human beings dying, right? Like at the end of the day, these are human beings dying. And I have, and you know this about me, right? I'm the most open person. I have friends of every race, every like religion. I don't look at these things. Race, religion, it's in your heart. You asked me if I was Christian. I said yes, but I live my Christianity in my heart. I know there's the good, the bad. I don't impose this. I have Jewish friends, Muslims friends, atheists. My wife's family was atheists, right? So I don't care at the end. But it's interesting, again, right, when you talk about boxing, right, putting people in boxes, and I think obviously the media has a lot to do with that. It's very interesting that you're allowed, right? Think of it, like this is something that I've really reflecting on. You can today criticize almost any country in the world openly, freely. Like we can sit here, right, and we can criticize
You're
Canada.
talking about in the Western world here.
I'm talking about,
Okay.
yeah, I'm talking about like,
Because if you go to Iran and you start criticizing the government,
absolutely. No,
they'll put you in a box.
Actually, sorry. I misexplained what I said. Here,
Okay.
where we are today, right, in the free world, okay, we can.
The big word free.
Yeah. This is why I don't know if the camera's on.
It's a big jail.
Well, this is right, and that's why you guys saw my like air quote, right, in the free world. But what I'm saying is, we can sit down today and we can open up a book, right? We can take a dictionary or an encyclopedia and criticize every country, right? We finish the show, we go. We may get a little bit of hate from citizens of that country, but nobody's gonna call us anti this, anti that, racist this,
Except one country.
Exactly. And so why is it that we cannot criticize Israel without being anti-Semite? Which, by the way, I'm a Semite. Let's be very clear about that. Right? If you look at the definition of what a Semite is, I'm a Semite, right?
Okay.
So for me, there's all of these big events that are happening right now that are bothering me to my core because, and again, I'm not trying to change people's, who am I to trying to change somebody's mind? That is not what I'm trying to do. But what I'm trying to do is that labeling, the automatic labeling, that if you don't fit a box that you're in, right? You're automatically labeled in a certain way. The States, I'll give one last example. When Trump was elected, right? And there is another chance that he's elected.
I hope
he does.
I hope he does.
100%. 1,000%. I'm not a fan of his, but 1,000%. The perception that we had in Canada is that everybody that supports Trump is a racist redneck, right? Well,
Boxes.
boxes. But for someone that 90% of my business is in the States, I try to explain to people, no, right? There's a lot of educated PhD holders, right? And that, again, not because you may follow him, like a lot of people like Trump, for example, because he positioned himself as anti-establishment. Or you have a lot of corporate America, by the way, I don't give a shit what they say openly. They all love them, right? Because
He was good for business.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the hypocrisy. All of them put a front, right? So it's the hypocrisy, and it's that you can't have a conversation. That is becoming a very heavy. And as a father, I'm at a crossroad. How am I going to raise my kids?
So I'll decompose what you just said
Yeah,
in a
You said
way.
a lot.
Please.
No, because the thing is, okay, so if I tell you whatever's happening now is not the first time it happened, first and foremost.
100%.
If we go back to the Communist
course.
Party way back when.
To the Romans.
The
Go back to
Romans. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
Of course. Yeah,
So they always say, as you know, things change, it always is the same, right?
100%.
Now, these boxes always been here.
Yep.
Some were more transparent than others, right? That's why they always tell you never throw a rock in a glass house.
Yep.
And we've been living in a glass house.
100%.
But what happened was during COVID, those glass houses got dirty so you can see them. And then people started, fearing and
Or just questioning.
questioning. But the thing is, the Sun Tzu, the art of war,
Yep.
divide and conquer.
Absolutely.
So these boxes
Oldest
has
trick in the book.
been going on. The only thing is all of a sudden we start seeing the lines pretty much of you're this or you're that. Because the biggest weapon when it comes to media, propaganda, politics, governments is fear.
100%.
Right? And we always did, even during the Cold War. Every United States of America movie who was the villain?
Russia.
100%.
It was always
Russia.
Russia.
Right.
After 9/11, it was the
villain?
Arabs.
Exactly. 100%.
So because of that,
But out
it's
of
just
all
100%.
that, the blood was still dying at the beginning of the movie. So.
beginning of the movie because they were considered as under,
Absolutely.
right? And they just kept on showing it to you and in your face, and you didn't realize it because you were entertained. What happened was certain people, because this is nothing new, the Vietnam War, when people decided to go against
Absolutely.
the government and the whole shebang, and then they just.
By the way, it's happening right now. Like exactly.
Exactly.
You're 100%. It's
the
happening
only thing
right
is
now.
now something we have today that they didn't have way back when.
Social media.
Social media.
Absolutely.
But social media right now, right? They're trying to ban it in the States, right? Because they're saying
TikTok.
for whatever reason.
Yep.
Whatever
Exactly.
reason.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They
yeah,
can give
yeah.
it anything. They're gonna be very soon. There's gonna be research saying that if you watch it too long, you're gonna have COVID. Again,
yeah,
I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised.
absolutely.
Or cancer related or something like that. These are the hot topics. Now, any excuse is a good excuse to portray somebody as an enemy. And the thing is, once somebody's painted as an enemy, if you're with him, you're against us. So now, Donald Trump, for many reasons, was painted as, because this was before COVID. Everything started really this extremism to an extreme level started after, like while Trump was happening because of his whole fake news thing and the media's controlling, and he was yelling it loud on TV and he was becoming a president. So people were like, he can't be that crazy. He saw things. Simple as that.
Yep.
And people were like, shit, I like him. But then they were like, if you like him, that means you're a redneck and you're racist.
100%.
But they're like, no, wait, no, not at all.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, they wanted to make you feel bad about liking him, and they
but-
wanted to give you shame.
But they do that often on a lot of
course,
things.
of
Omar
course.
Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein.
Of course.
When they killed them and they were
Literally.
saying, they're
Of
like,
course.
look at the bad, but why don't you focus a little bit on the good too?
Like the
Well,
documentary that we were watching. the other-
on Omar Gaddafi. Because Omar Gaddafi, as crazy as he was, did a lot of good for
Do
Libya.
you know that I haven't met a single Libyan yet, and I know many of them,
Mm-hmm.
that was happy that Gaddafi was like overthrown and that, like not one.
The country now is wasteland.
Exactly. Not
Iraq
one.
is wasteland.
Completely.
Afghanistan is wasteland.
Completely.
But we're not going to be talking
Of
about
course
them
not.
because
They
hey,
liberated them.
Yeah.
They liberated them.
From what? I don't know. And right now, to get back to the whole Israel thing, Israel is, again, I have no problem with the Israeli people. I have a
100%.
problem with the government.
100%.
And this is where it becomes very delicate, is because it's funny when an American president fucks up, we don't say fuck America. We say fuck the government.
100%.
But when it came to Israel, when we say fuck the government, you're against the Jews.
100%.
And I'm like, but wait, what? And I have one of co-hosts that is Jewish
Yeah.
here, Israeli. We had a lot of debates.
3 hours
lot,
podcast.
lot of debates.
I actually caught a portion of it.
And he's very passionate, and
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, he was in Israel October 7th. He
Yeah.
was there.
Wow.
So when it happened, and then we did a podcast about humans, not
Yeah.
about politics,
Yeah.
not about things. And I'm like, yo, it's a shame that people are dying still with this ongoing war for eternity. And I even said it on the pod. I'm like, the only way this is going to end, because the states in Israel are in a state of power, is they're going to eradicate Palestinians. There's going to only be left a couple of tribes here and there, and they're going to become the indigenous people of the land. Literally, that's what's going to happen if it continues this way. And people are going to be like, yeah, once upon a time. Right?
Where the country names
Yeah,
Palestine.
well, but before that it was Judah, blah, 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 blah. And again, it's all about the marketing. It's all, history is written by the winner. So they're the ones who's going to be writing the books.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, 2-3 generations down, and I've seen this, the power of books and education, how it could actually mold a whole country. I was in Japan. Do you know the Japanese? So this was in 2006. Probably now they're in their 40s, 30s right now. Had no idea about the 2 bombs that fell in Japan. They don't talk about that there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they found shame, so they just
I didn't know that.
yeah. So if you go Nagasaki or what happened? Oh, it's a nice city. That's it. They don't talk about it.
Wow. I learned something. I didn't
So
know
now
that.
I don't know if they study it at school, but I can tell you for a fact there was a documentary of people going on the streets. It's like, do you know what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Oh, 2 cities of Japan. They felt shame. They were disappointed, and they just decided not to talk about it anymore. Eliminate history. Now,
But to a certain extent, you can eliminate the
oh yes,
history.
you
the
can.
risk.
Yes, you can.
Until when? Right now, we have access to information. Back in the days, remember, we all had to go to the library to get a book, to get stuff. You actually...
Gigi, you're going too far. Just look at the history of the Bible. We all know today that Constantine decided to sit down and modify the Bible for the pagans to be able to follow the religion. We don't know exactly today what exactly he did, but we know for a fact that the date of Christ is on the 24th of December, 25th of December, but that wasn't the original date, but it was another pagan, and they were just like, oh, that way. And we know these things, but we don't know exactly what happened. So imagine now, those who control social media, those who can, YouTube is the perfect example. They can censor you. You remember during COVID, when you would use the word COVID, you would directly eliminate it, or it would be flagged, or it would be like...
Even on Instagram.
Well, I mean, even now, with what's happening, like even now, Instagram is doing it openly.
Yeah, but
Right. Like-
and they're saying it's for the greater good.
Absolutely.
Misinformation. That's the flag
tag,
that they're
yeah.
using
Misinformation.
constantly.
Yeah, but I also want to say something that you said, and it's interesting, right? You said back then we had to go, but think of it that way. When books were invented, right? When people started, like, you know, when the first book and people started writing and news started traveling, and we had newspapers, right? It was considered back then, oh my God, that is the greatest way. Like, there's no way people thought back then we discovered a way to report on facts and history.
And if it was in the
right
newspaper,
way,
it was the
right?
truth.
And then exactly. And then after that, radio came. Holy shit! No, radio now is the new way. Like, there was no way we could have fathomed that there was going to be a better way to give news and information better than radio. Then the TV came, right? So now we're in the internet age. What I'm saying is, what we feel today is amazing. In 50 years, it's going to become like obsolete.
Yeah, you're going to have it cheap.
And whatever.
No, they're
it
going
is.
to implement
Exactly.
ideas in your head.
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? Is that every generation, whatever media they had, whatever invention came, seemed to be, oh my God, the best and greatest. But the reality is, they will find a way. So I completely agree with what you're saying, Sin. If they want to rewrite history, which they're doing daily,
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah,
like
they
this
are.
is what's scary. It's not something that they don't need to alter it in 10 years. They're doing it daily.
and even if they get caught, they're like, oops, and we move on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we move on.
Literally.
No, and the thing is, think about it. Back then, right? You go back 30 years ago, 40 like years ago. You would get a very limited amount of news every day. It was your newspaper, and the radio repeated what that newspaper said. And unless you were an educated person that went and paid a little bit more to get an international newspaper, you were getting the news of your city. Maybe the country, right? So every day.
Maybe the state.
Maybe. So, and every day you got 15, 20, maybe 25 different news. This is it. Today, we're getting this on an hourly basis. Our brains are getting so crammed with information that even if, and they're counting on it, right? Even if 10% of it is crap, there's so much, you can't stop and say, wait a minute, what the hell just happened? Your brain is moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. But you want the next hit.
Exactly.
And when there's bad news that comes, they pull in a distraction.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden you turn and you completely forgot about that thing. Like we did tell you, we just didn't pay attention and we move on.
Yeah, we just voted another $1 trillion for Ukraine and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But on a Friday night, and we know that on the market, it's like slow
and
Friday.
that was between an NBA game and it's all playing out. Like all the big decisions are during
Speaking about this, did you guys hear about this? I don't want theory about what's her name, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And the football player that she's dating,
Kelsey.
Yeah.
Kelsey. Did you guys hear that conspiracy?
Which one? There's many.
There's many, but like it was actually arranged, right? It was arranged for two reasons.
Their
One,
relationship.
yes, being together, it was actually fabricated, and it was two reasons for that.
Okay.
So listen, I don't care about celebrities to begin with, but I just found the concept interesting. So there was two reasons. Reason one, she's very powerful. She's like one of the most powerful.
She is right now.
She's one of the most powerful people on the world right now. So her followers, right, can alter like elections, right? So they're counting, like Biden is really counting. The Democrats are counting on her to get.
It's a Democrat, not Biden.
Right.
Yeah, but the problem with Taylor Swift is her fans are too young. But anyway.
Well, don't forget, she's been around for a while.
Yeah, but meaning that her biggest, these crazy,
but
don't
know how
forget
they're
those
called.
$1,000 tickets now.
But what I'm saying is, a lot of the fans that started with her became older.
Yeah. No,
right?
I get that.
But you're right. She does have a younger. But so one of them was that it was going to be like with her and him being together. Now they can expand the fan base to sports people, right? But also there was another one, and honestly, so I don't know. I didn't get the chance to. I didn't really take the time to really look into that. But apparently, he was a spokesperson for Pfizer.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, he's the football guy. I don't
Very
know,
good. So
he had the tattoo with the
patch,
the vaccine. Yeah.
Okay, good. So at least
it's a real tattoo.
Yeah, well, not a tattoo, but it was the real vaccine. Whatever.
Okay.
I don't know if he took it, but
so
he
anyway,
got paid.
so thank you for confirming that because I wanted to be clear. I didn't have a chance. So if you're saying that he is, I'm gonna
he's
take
a
your word.
football guy. He's
Very
a football
good.
guy.
So, and this was an amazing way to get visibility because Kelsey was known, but nowhere near to the level that. And the thing is, you would have told me something like this 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. I looked at you like, bro. Yeah. But to your point, COVID, it's almost like if you were asleep, it woke you up. Like if you had a bit of a critical thinking. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a person that never had critical thinking or you're afraid, because there's a lot of people that don't want to believe in these things because it would shake their value systems to a core, right?
But then you start doubting everything.
Exactly.
And then you jump into the rabbit hole.
Exactly.
That's the other problem with actually starting questioning. Now you start questioning everything.
You don't know where do you actually.
Where do you end? Like any conspiracy. The Q, the lizard people. Like is that right?
Flat Earth.
And it's a very slippery slope.
It really is.
And it's like jumping into the rabbit hole with
really
Alice in
is.
Wonderland.
And
like how deep does the hole go?
And there's two friends of mine that I've seen spiral completely out of control.
Oh, so now they doubt everything.
It became to the point where they jeopardized their family life, their work life, like they got consumed by this.
So my question to these people, and again,
because I need to understand them.
No, but we had a couple here. I had one specifically that lost it.
Yeah.
Like to a point that there was lizard people in the White House and everything like that.
Yes, that whole Q conspiracy.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay,
QAnon.
whatever. But I'm like, at the end of the day, first and foremost, one thing we do have as an advantage here in Canada is you can leave at any moment you want. First and foremost.
Yep.
If you start doubting everything and you don't feel okay and you feel like everything is a conspiracy, take your shit and bounce.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's funny. It's like they remain here. So they have the opportunity to criticize more. And if you realize now, we are surrounded by false prophets. Everybody claims to have the truth.
Of course.
Everybody claims to be a fucking life coach. Everybody claims to be that nutritionist guru.
Of course.
Everybody has the solution to all your problems. Yet, only thing it takes is a phone to have the possibility of Gab, right, speaking well. and that you have a followings. There's
100%.
cult leaders everywhere nowadays. And people now, the minute they associate to one thing, like, oh yeah, that's true. Everything they say must be true. And I keep on saying on this pod, a broken clock is still right twice a day.
True.
It doesn't make it useful.
Absolutely.
It doesn't fucking make it useful.
100%.
But today, sadly, because people are so confused and they don't know what north to the south is right now, everybody's trying to clinch on something. And the minute they hear, because the thing is, like, Trump is the easiest example because he's on the biggest echelon where there's certain things I agree with him. There's certain things I just find him fucked
Absolutely.
up. But that's
Absolutely.
everybody I know.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's everybody
This is
I
what
know.
I'm saying.
Everybody
right?
I know. Take some, leave some.
Absolutely.
Now, he could be a good politician, but a bad husband.
Who gives a shit?
Definitely.
No.
Fucking a porn star
Yeah,
while his
but-
wife was
yeah,
pregnant.
but guys.
But that's okay.
Absolutely.
cares?
So,
That's
listen,
okay.
Listen. Knock on wood. If you need to get surgery, right? And somebody tells you this is the best fucking doctor available for the kind of surgery you
But he
need,
cheats on his wife?
But the guy is a piece of shit husband. Do you give a shit?
I don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit.
That's why you should have experts for expertise
This is what I'm-
jobs.
exactly,
and the
right?
personal life. Like, he won't be a couple
Yes.
psychologists.
There you
Let's just
go.
put it that way.
There you go.
Or he might tell you what not to do.
Yes. Or listen,
Exactly.
If you want to bang a porn star, maybe he's exactly the guy you want to
Yeah,
go
but
to.
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Then that's the issue here
Yeah.
is you have to be right on everything. And now, when I say right, that means for your principles.
100%. But
Right?
this is it.
But if your idols fucks up, and this is where we had this conversation prior to,
Mm-hmm.
are you able to remove the artist from the person?
Absolutely.
R. Kelly's of this world, Puff
We
Daddy,
came back with that,
Kanye
yeah.
West.
Absolutely.
R.
Like, the
Kelly
music
made a
is
lot
still
of-
good.
It's amazing. It's
The
amazing.
guy's a fucking psychopathic
Absolutely.
pervert.
Absolutely.
Whatever, narcissistic.
Well, I mean, listen, the whole canceling culture, right, is like, what I'm saying is, you're right. Like, but also, talking about that, because that's what we're talking about. Now, there's certain people that obviously deserves whatever punishment came like to them. But our whole, again, quotes, the freedom world that we live in, right? Our whole justice system is based on innocent till proven guilty.
Was.
No. By law.
No. Was.
Guys. Wait.
The minute Disney fucking fires you before you're not even guilty,
Well, okay.
Johnny Depp can tell you the opposite
Well,
too.
100%. But this is
It's popular opinion
But
now.
there you go. But this is okay. We're saying the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
That's what
so
I'm
what
saying.
I'm saying is, these countries were built on a fundamental core that you are innocent or proven guilty.
Yeah, that's the
Yet
theory.
now, socially, you're finished.
Yeah. You
So-
can be not guilty, but you're still socially finished.
Finished, right? Like you can like a court of law with experts and 12 people and jurors and
Even there, but let me tell you something. On that side too, even there in court, the court.
Of course.
There's a reason why the federal, the FBI, whatever, the federal court, not cult.
well, maybe it can be a call, maybe, right? Like
They have a 99% convicting rate because, first of all, they don't take cases that they're going to lose. Of
course.
And second of all, they're going to make sure they're going to lose. And sometimes they can come with an offer and be like, yo, plead guilty, you got 24.
Of course.
You don't plead guilty, we're going to add more count that you might do
But now
20.
it's business. It's not even about principle.
I'm not. So you are absolutely. So I'm talking about. There's the theoretical, and there's the practice.
Yes.
As everything, humans tend to mess up and pervert everything.
That's
right?
why we take insurance. Sometimes you have an insurance, even your lawyer's going to call you and be like, yeah, just pay. Be like, yeah, but it's not just pay because it's just going to be way too complicated.
of course. And he's right. It is business at the end, right? It's a business transaction. But what I'm saying is, so I know we said we weren't going to talk shop, so I don't want, but I'm going to give that, and give that example that happened to be at work. So I'm an executive, okay, and I'm not saying this in all. I'm just saying that I'm.
That is your title. That is your title.
Okay,
Yo, facts are facts.
Yeah, okay.
What
But I
the
mean,
fuck?
no, but
You have to be ashamed of
No,
your-
at all.
I worked hard, motherfucker.
Plan. Plan.
But so I was in Toronto like 3 weeks ago, and I have a team there, and I was going and I was just checking on the team. There was a couple of meetings we had, and when I take them out, we have dinner, I grab a drink during dinner, and then when the night is over, I tell them good night, and I go to my room, right? And all these people are around my age, right? Maybe a couple of years younger, older, but like it's not like I'm hanging out with 20-year-olds, right? So it's actually people that if I go out with them at a bar, I'll have a lot of fun, but I don't do it. And I don't do it because I've realized I'm such an easy target. It takes one person, right, that could literally say, Jean did this.
You know when I told you at the beginning of the pod that this guy was focused and he had a plan? He studied the whole layout. This guy
100%.
walks in the room
He'd be like,
and knows
yeah.
that's danger, that's danger.
But I mean,
so you have only ugly women at work.
my wife is gonna watch. Unfortunately, not. There's actually some very good-looking people. If they were ugly, but what I'm saying is, right?
He walks with a body cam.
Exactly. I swear to you, yes. Oh
Yeah,
my
because
god.
I can only imagine. Well, we
But-
don't have office jobs. You do. I can only imagine the opportunistic,
Literally.
the vicious.
Literally. And on top of that,
Uncomfortable. I'd be
And
nowadays. Put me in an office
100
job.
like,
I'd be,
You open up the door. It's sexual harassment.
literally.
You say I can't open my own door.
Listen, it
Bitch.
became to the point where if there's a woman, a female colleague that is wearing cool shoes, right? Cool shoes.
You can't compliment.
I
me.
swear to you guys.
No.
It's like I restrain myself. I literally I
Actually,
unless,
just
This is
in
unless-
case-
discipline. This is discipline.
unless,
Just-
yeah, well, the thing is,
So you
again-
can't make jokes, racist jokes, sexist jokes. You can't make
Oh
nothing.
God, yes.
You're like, you Arab.
Yes.
You can't even make an Arab
Yes.
like a
No. So, actually, speaking of, I had a field day with that one. So you know what we used to call téléphone cassé? You remember?
Téléphone arabe.
So it's téléphone arabe.
Yeah.
But that's racist.
Is it?
Well, I mean, listen. Basically, you're saying that Arabs are full of shit, right? I mean that's
No,
what
they
it
have
is.
tendency of modifying.
Okay, so
That's a fact.
But listen, I am not disagreeing. But in the Middle East, that game is called téléphone cassé,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because we're among ourselves.
Well, exactly. So we were, and I had a field day with that. We were at work, and we were having a meeting, and then a couple of people were talking, and they're like, "Oh," and they were kind of saying, we called this meeting because we didn't want to say things many times, and then have a téléphone arabe. And like I was zero offended by this, but I had a field day with it.
Oh, so you played the.
Oh my God. I was like,
Excuse you?
I literally, right? And it was one of those rare occasions where
I can say something.
where I had fun with my rank. I'm like, you said what? and then they stopped. And there was like 20 people on the call and they were like,
And at that moment, they knew they fucked up.
and oh my God. And it's funny because I swear, I think I was one step away of getting a letter from like HR. And I'm like, guys, I was joking, like honestly, like, but it is like, it became to the point where I made a joke and clearly, like you could tell from my face that I wasn't, like I was really having fun, but this is it. Everybody's walking on eggshells. You know what? I am Lebanese. I am proud. And I say it openly. Lebanese are fucking bullshitters.
Yeah,
right?
but you're allowed to do that.
100%. But what I'm saying is, even if somebody called me out on it,
My mom's daughter, she's Lebanese.
No, but wait,
so-
I'll give you an example, and this is where it becomes a little bit interesting. So I give the example of my brother.
yeah,
I can insult my brother all I want,
100%.
but I don't want anybody.
100%.
And this is where it comes about.
100%.
Because if you're going to come and say, like I often say on the pod, black people are always late, right? But I show him as an example, and I
Yeah.
have Jason on the other pod,
Yeah.
right? And these are like, they're jokes, they're yet true, but they don't come from a bad place. Of
course.
And nuance today
100%.
disappeared.
There you go.
White
Like,
or black,
use your
no
brain.
gray
This is
zone.
it.
Use your
This
brain
is
a
it.
bit.
This is it, right? Like back then, you remember when the movie White Men Can't Jump
Yeah.
came out?
Yeah.
Well, it's true.
That
White
would
men-
offend a lot of people today.
Well, exactly. like this is what I'm saying. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, racism exists, and
But
obviously,
those are the best jokes, though.
but this is what I'm saying is that when it comes from the right place and when you can nuance them, right? I just feel that we're living in a world like we're trying to turn the world into a sterile syringe, right? Like
Yes.
we're taking all the color out of it.
But it's a form of control.
Of course it is.
a form of
And
control.
in the name of racism, like this is what's very interesting, right? They're using all of these very important social issues to justify why they're doing what they're doing. But if you really peel through the bullshit, you realize they're actually trying to turn everybody into the same blend of cereal.
Gray. Yeah.
This is it. Like, but do you like you can't do this, you can't do that. If you think that way, then we're putting you in that box. If you're doing this,
But it's interesting because before in the 80s specifically, when they would tell you don't do this, and they're like, oh, they're trying to control us. Now today the narrative changed.
100%.
So now they tell you don't do this because you would be this, and
That's
that.
it.
And like, are you this? No, I'm not. So you must do this.
that's it.
And
yes, actually,
that comes
well,
with through fear. It comes through
Absolutely.
Again, it's social brainwashing in the sense that you see it today, the clash of culture between China, for example,
of course, and
the Western
West,
world,
yep.
right? Or Russia and the Western.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're like them, this is how the government controls and doesn't let anybody else vote. And I'm like, you guys are not any better. I'm like, Trump was yelling that all the fucking vote was fake.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying that your president was
Exactly.
claiming. And now you're complaining about Russia? I'm like, I just find it ironic. Or talking about China, oh, the government censors everything. Yet you're the one who wants to stop TikTok
Yep.
to come in the States.
Yeah, but they're doing it for noble
Yeah,
reasons.
but it's just the bow,
But of course,
the beautiful
but
bow they
this
put
is
on it.
right? I mean, this is what I'm saying. So,
It's the marketing.
but you know, I mean, you know, there's something freeing around not giving a shit, right? Like, so I'll tell you what I mean. What I mean by that. When my wife decided to stop working, right after the twins, and it's funny, that whole story was funny because the twins were born. We had a hellish year, like really tough year. We spoke about it a little bit off camera. And then as her maternity was coming to an end, I was seeing and feeling the stress that she had of going back to work. Now, I wasn't saying anything because I didn't want to look like the
Misogynist.
the chauvinist guy. Exactly, right?
What nationality is your wife?
Armenian.
Armenian.
Okay.
So it's
You Taliban or what?
Exactly, right? So I didn't want it to come like, okay, we have 3 kids, you stay, you cook, you clean, right?
Man work, woman clean, and do
There you go. I want food, right? Like so I was right?
But he's the type. He's the type. He literally said on the pod that he claimed his wife.
So it's very funny. So I'm not saying anything. I'm like, shit, I don't want her to think that, like women stay home, right? She doesn't want to go back to work. But she's not saying anything because she feels bad about putting all the financial burden on me.
That's a
right?
beautiful couple, you see?
Yeah.
Honestly, I have to say, and this is like
Was part of the plan.
no. I honestly
That's what I picked you.
So I'm not a person that I don't post pictures of, like, I don't believe in displaying love and all that. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I'm truly, truly blessed. I think most of my success comes from the fact that I found the right partner. Anyways,
Amen to that, man.
So,
buddy.
Like, I'm jealous.
yeah. When my wife met me, I was at the lowest of the lowest. Didn't have anyways. But so it's funny.
Your
so,
low is a very high. Yeah. I'm just putting it out there.
Compared to the regular guy.
So we're literally a week before. And my wife decides one morning to go and kind of drive to work and time herself. And she comes back and I'm seeing the stress. And at that time, I was still in sales. Well, I mean, I'm still in sales, but I was doing the sales. I was an enterprise software salesperson. So traveling on average 80 to 100 times like a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like always gone, right? I'd come, I'd go.
That's literally
So
twice a week.
2-3 days or
Yes,
for
yes.
a week?
Oh, yeah,
It's twice a week, so 100 times, 52 weeks.
Yeah,
It's 100
exactly. Like around 26, around half of the time. So in the morning, the whole, like, one kid to daycare, 2 other kids at daycare, like it was all on her. And like 3 days before, I call up my sister. I'm like, listen, I need you to come babysit the kids. We're going to put them to bed. Come and say, I need to take my wife and we need to go out. I got to talk to her outside of the house setting.
Shit, that's beautiful right there.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that a lot of people
appreciate that.
doesn't have that. Okay, so I found out what's your biggest quality. It's your self-awareness and your awareness of your surrounding. This is something when I was saying at the beginning, I saw in you, that's actually the word. Because for you to realize that not only your wife was going through these questioning, let's just say, and she was overwhelmed. And then to have the idea to call your sister to babysit and take this conversation outside the house because you know she associates the stress and the doubt to the house. There's not a lot of men out there. Sorry, buddy. But no, and I'm not throwing you flowers. I'm literally throwing you the whole garden now because it's true. Realizing, because I often say people think or know the theory of love, but loving somebody is loving them the way they need to be loved, not the way you expect them to love yourself, right?
That's 100%.
And just being that self-aware is amazing for your wife. And if you're happy life, happy wife, happy life, right?
Yep.
And if you have a happy life, that means you have a happy household and you're going to have kids that
Happy
are
man,
going to
happy
grow.
kingdom.
Exactly. It's literally that.
Well, so it's anyways. I'll circle back to that. Anyways, we go out, and I'm really choosing my words carefully. And
What was the restaurant?
I forgot. I forgot, to be honest.
It's not important. You see? You see?
Yeah,
It was probably your favorite food.
it's a good question though. Yeah. It's anyways. I forgot. But I started and
Taliban.
So wait. So what was your plan though? To tell her to stop working?
my plan was to tell her that if she wanted to stop working
It's okay.
financially, I will gladly do it for her. Right? So I wanted to give her the option.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell her, if you want to work, we'll figure it out. Even if I had to hire a nanny, we'd figure it out. Right? But if you wanted to stop working, gladly.
What kind of job does she do, if you don't mind asking?
She used to be, well, also that made it a bit simpler because it wasn't really a career. It was a job. Back then she used to work for a TD bank.
Okay.
In their commercial loans department.
Okay.
And she was like the final governance and risk officer before they rolled. And
No, but what I meant was a 9 to 5 type of job.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was going
My
with.
wife is extremely like artistic. Like that woman oozes art. Honestly, like, and that's why I'm telling her, tell me what you want to do, and I will gladly invest. Right? Like she draws, she sings, she writes.
God,
like,
man.
Like she is a right.
He's a keeper.
Yo, I feel like shit now. I feel like the Wish version.
Imagine me.
Okay, to be fair, okay, to be fair, I have 4 kids, right? Like I better make.
Yeah, but you were like that before the kids.
you know,
Stop it.
Okay.
Where did you go for your honeymoon? Just out of curiosity.
Martinique.
See, you went with the
No
people.
Mexico. No.
That's what I'm saying, and I love it. Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I almost bought a place there. That's how
See,
much.
I'm investing probably in Guadeloupe.
Are you? I love it. Yeah. So I'm like.
So that's the final decision.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
done?
probably
So-
that's pretty much at 80%.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
'cause
amazing.
Canada, but we'll get back to
Yes,
that.
yes.
We'll circle back. You haven't,
Yeah,
you haven't, you
We're gonna be
haven't,
circling a lot today.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
you haven't answered the question.
Yes. So basically, I'm talking and I'm being careful and I just the more I'm talking, the more I'm seeing life and color come back to her face. And then she just comes and she hugs me and she says, "Baby, thank you so much. Like I didn't know how to bring this up to you. Like I didn't."
So she was thinking about it too.
absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, it's done. Best decision we've done. But then, why did I come down that story? There was a whole point which I'm coming back to. At first, for the first couple of years, when people would ask me in a social setting,
Fucking people.
exactly, when people would ask me, "Oh,
Le regard des gens.
exactement, what does your wife do?"
And they say, you fucking Arabic guy.
Dude,
For sure.
dude, exactly.
Without saying it, they were saying
but
it.
listen, let's be clear. This face.
Yeah.
Like, what
Even
the fuck
Arabic
mean?
people.
He has a darker face than mine.
Exactly, right? Like, what I'm saying is, like, there is no 2 ways about it. This is an Arabic man's face, right?
Even the Arab people, like they were like,
Right? So,
And
then,
what kind of nationalities your circles? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, I'm talking at work. I'm talking about
okay.
Canadians, Americans,
The
whatever.
people that you can't say they have nice shoes.
The people that-
I just wanted to be sure. Now I know why we're back here.
I have a feeling this podcast is going to be an issue for me. No.
You're gonna be like, bee, flat life.
So, and at first, I was, and maybe I went through a moment of weakness where I would justify myself. It was her decision. Like, I'd have this reflex.
But do you care what people think?
So, you know, it's funny.
So
Usually,
the art of not giving a fuck at the end.
so you know, it's funny. Usually, I don't. But on that, because it had to do with my wife, I almost felt like
You needed to protect her.
didn't want her to take an image that she was this shattered, like weak woman that just follows whatever I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Well, like I did it in a way where I think there were some selfish reasons to protect my image, but it was also like no,
Protect the family.
But you know what? One day I'm like, fuck it. You want to think that I'm a piece of, go for it. Like I don't give a shit. And today this is it. Like, and that could be, and it's funny because when I know a woman is a feminist, right? I actually have so much pleasure, right?
So what your wife does for a living?
She's raising our kids, which honestly, God bless her. She's my hero. Four
No.
kids. Like guys, let's take this for a
And
moment.
the young
Good
kids.
answer.
And the young kids.
I
let's
was
take
just wanted
this.
to end. You hear your answer. The how to
100%.
say
And I
it.
say it, and you know what? And it's funny, even though I work long hours, sometimes I could pull 70-hour weeks easy. I still believe that what my wife, the patience, the energy, the physical that 4 kids.
This guy's gonna
7
turn
to
me
2.
gay, man. I'm like, shit.
No, I promise you. No.
I'm like, God damn.
No, but Sin, think of it. I get to travel, right?
No,
A lot.
I totally
Right?
understand.
Even though I'm kind of over the traveling. But what I'm saying is so it's funny, I was literally telling a friend of mine on my way to see you guys. I'm like, it's not even May yet, and I'm already a gold member at Marriott, which means you've clocked 40 nights and more, right? Like,
Damn.
like already, right? And don't get me wrong, like I love I identify myself with my kids. Like my kids, everything I do is for them. I think the moment I started having kids, my plan and my ambition went into like overdrive because I really wanted to give them the security.
But you have to be careful here.
100%.
Overworking, and then they're gonna grow. You can't take that time back.
100%. 100%. And this is why I'm telling you.
That's why you have a different job now. That's he travels.
Exactly. So before, I would have already done 100 nights, right? But this is the point that I'm saying. I don't enjoy traveling because I miss them.
Yeah.
Because every moment I'm away with them and I'm realizing, holy shit. And you told me that once, long time ago. And I remember, like, dude, listen, we go back. His kids were still young and he was buying life insurance. He was amazing, buying life insurance from my ex back then, right? And he was telling me, when you'll be a father, you'll realize it goes so fast. And like, I can't believe his kids. Like, I saw pictures of your kids.
Yeah, but my daughter and my son are 5'10". They're my height.
It's unbelievable.
14 and 16.
It's unbelievable, right?
It's scary.
So this is my fear is that I'm gonna
Miss out.
So I have a rule that when I'm home, when I'm in town, every day, no matter how tired, no matter how exhausted, if I'm home, I want to give each one of them 15 minutes of one-on-one time with me. Like, that's a rule.
That's amazing.
That's a rule, right? Like, and again, I have 4 kids. You said it.
That's an hour.
People need to be loved the way they need to be
Yes.
loved, right? I have my second son. Well, one of the twins, Leo, is on the spectrum, and it's a beautiful thing. Like having a kid that is on the autism spectrum is such a journey, right? As a parent,
said.
I have a friend of mine that
Right?
has one too, and
as a parent, you go through such a journey. You go through so many emotions. You go through so many things. But you know, it's funny. I was telling my mom, and again, when we talk about socialties, right? So my mom, and done with the best intentions, because you know, back in our country, is fucking so like mental. They're so backwards, right? So my mom kept on telling me once we diagnosed him when he was 2, I am praying so he heals. And I kept on telling her,
but it's
Mom,
coming from a good place.
100%. But I kept on telling her, Mom, there's nothing to heal. This is who he is. And if God himself came and told me, say the word, I'll snap my fingers and make him non-autistic, I'll say, no, that's exactly who he's supposed to be.
Why?
Because the thing is, Sin, autism is not a death sentence.
No, I agree with that. But it depends on.
100%. But
Would he be independent later on?
we don't know.
Okay.
He's pretty right now. His biggest challenge right now is speech.
Okay.
Okay, so he can communicate really well. Like he'll tell you what.
Okay, so
what-
he is very functional.
he's very functional.
Oh no, because my friend.
No, like in the morning he wakes up Like in the morning, my son wakes up, will dress himself, will go down, sit at the table, and wait for his food without anyone telling him anything.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So
if
okay.
he was here with us today, and he sat here, he would be sitting and just watching us. And
Okay,
he wouldn't
yeah.
bother. Like we are lucky. He's very socially functional.
Yeah, that's
The
it.
thing is he doesn't speak a lot yet. Like he can repeat words. He'll communicate. Like he'll take my hands, tell me what he wants. But like it's not his reflex. But you know I think you give me so much credit for who I am, and I appreciate it, even though I have a million flaws. But I think one having kids, like you are a parent and you are a parent. Having kids already, right? Like automatically, especially if you are someone that wants to be a father, right?
Yeah. Not everybody's designed to be parents.
100%,
No,
right?
and
Because
they shouldn't be.
Because getting someone pregnant doesn't make you a father, right? Like
No.
what I'm saying is, if you, when your son or your daughter are born, and you decide to say, "I want to be a father," you take that responsibility, that sacred oath, right? Once you embark on that role or journey, it changes you, right? You realize that
Without even wanting it. Like, it's just like...
and this is what, and that's why I don't want to give myself credit. It's almost a self-preservation. Like you have to.
You have to
But you
give
still have
yourself
to
credit.
take the decision to change.
Amen.
Don't get me wrong.
100%.
When I got my daughter, the further that I got her in my arm, I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta go to work. No, and I was like, but I didn't go to work. We went to a supper after, but still.
Priorities.
I love it.
But then from that day,
Yeah.
I was doing like 60, 70 hours
Yes.
a week, just trying to build the business and be like, okay. And then I forgot myself
And that's
in the process.
Exactly.
Cost me my
Yes.
my relationship,
Yeah.
whatever. We were compatible, but let's say we're trying to co-parent right now. But the thinking, even nowadays, if it wasn't for her right now, I wouldn't be in Canada anymore. I would be somewhere else. But she's here, so I have the responsibility of being here.
Absolutely.
Now I want more kids because one is not enough. So I'm like, okay, I met another girl. So far, so good.
Knock on wood.
She doesn't bust my chops. And I told her the number one reason why I'm still here is like, tu me fais pas chier. That was literally in those
That
words.
is very romantic coming from him, by the way. I'm just putting it out there.
In those words. I'm not even... It
That's his
wasn't
equivalent
like...
of saying I love you.
Yeah, because...
You don't boss my balls.
He came and he opened his book. There was like 17 conditions. Sign here.
No, but he had a plan too. Keep in mind.
But this is what I'm saying, right? And it's okay. This is what. So you know why my wife and I worked well. Like I was so bluntly honest with her when I met her. Like, listen, you know how it was when we were younger. Like, oh my God, the shit that we did and the things we said to make right. Like it would, and it's
It would be illegal today.
Yeah, oh my God. Oh shit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. The stories. But it's funny, there's that saying, I don't know if it's a French saying, that if you don't respect yourself, nobody will like respect you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain people that you meet, and the moment they open their mouth, it's almost like they give you the permission to disrespect them, right? And it's subconscious. And that happens with girls. Like there's girls we met in our youth that you knew that, I could probably fuck around. Like I could probably, and I'll get away with it, right? And then there's other girls that you knew, you're like, yeah, no, this is wifey material.
Wifey material.
Like unless,
100
right? Like unless I have a plan, long-term plan, I'm not gonna fuck with this girl. Because anyways, there's nothing that's gonna come out of this.
Yeah, you didn't want to ruin her life.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? She probably wouldn't let you ruin.
Oh yeah, no. But meaning
with
that
a good-
you're right.
some people are victims of sadly the people they cross.
With a
And this
good
is my
game.
fear because I have a daughter now.
Absolutely.
As much as I educate her, spend time with her, and everything like that,
It takes one guy with good games.
Absolutely.
one
That's it.
fucking guy,
Sample.
and
Sample.
that's when you see me going to jail.
Sample. And you know what? It's so funny because, so my wife, I met her at a wedding. It's actually the funniest thing. Not the wedding because a lot of people, but my wife crashed the wedding that I met her at. She wasn't supposed to be there. Do you know Harut Chitrian?
The guy that has the cars.
No, he was in politics. He was le VP.
Oh yes.
Harut,
Yeah.
okay? So now, and then he was at
Was that his wed- was that his wedding?
It was at his wedding. Okay, and it's so his father and my father-in-law are kindergarten childhood friends.
From back home.
You're talking 60 years
God
ago.
Damn.
That's
Right?
far.
That is.
I don't
far.
even remember people from elementary
Exactly.
school.
Yo.
Like what I'm saying is like true friendship. And the parents, my in-laws were invited because my wife is from Toronto. She grew up in Toronto. Right? So she
moved for you.
She moved
Such
for
an
me.
Arabic guy, man.
Actually, I will tell you why. No.
I'm joking.
It was exactly no, he's poking me. No. But actually, we had a
Taliban.
By the way, you know, Talibans are not Arabs. By the way,
I know.
Yeah. No. We came here for it was a financial decision, right? Like our dollar takes us so much further in Montreal than it does in Toronto. I mean, that was I mean, that was it. That was a very simple. Anyways, so and when they got the invitation, it was clearly for my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. But then they told my wife, just come. And they didn't even tell them.
So she was seated between two plates.
She like, I mean, obviously I think there was room. So but this is how she came, right? And anyways.
And you were there with your parents.
I was there. No, Harut, I know him from from school. So I was there alone. I was on a table with all of my friends, but most of them were either engaged or married.
So you didn't bring a plus one?
No, I was solo. I was
Maktub.
right. And anyways, so we did the long distance for 2011. So we met in 2011. We got married in 2014. So we did it for like 2 years and a half.
Holy shit.
And then
Yo.
6 months
Damn.
before the wedding, she moved in here.
So how was the long distance, just out of curiosity? You would go to Toronto, she would come here?
Yep. So it would be
Once a month? Once a
so we'd see each other probably 2 weekends a month. Right? So one time I'd go, what time she'd come. So it'd be like 1 weekend.
Did you pay for all the flights?
No. Actually, no.
So she was as committed as you were.
So let me tell you, my wife did something. My wife did two things.
And this is a very important moment because I try to explain this to a lot of women nowadays.
Yeah.
But continue because I know where you're going somewhat.
No.
This is take fucking notes. So nobody cut him off.
Take.
Nobody
I'm
cut him
shutting
off.
up.
Let him finish his line. Go ahead.
But my wife did two things that messed me up to my core.
Yep. I know that sentence.
No. But
Go ahead.
in a really good way. By the way.
No. I believe
we
you.
know.
Okay.
We know.
All right.
This is the part where I
Very
get
good.
jealous again.
Yeah. So, but honestly, messed me up to my core. So I won't go into too many details, right? When I told you the road was bumpy, it really was. Like there was a point where I had lost everything. Everything I worked for in my 20s gone down the drain. So started from zero. I'm talking about, when is the next piece of bread coming from? Right? Like that's how bad it got for like various reasons. So when my wife met me, when we met, I remember like it was yesterday. I had probably $1,000 to what's my name. Like I was, when you say broke. Like and I don't know if you guys have this in Algeria. In Arabic we say "Jaibto," like there's a hole in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? And when my wife met me, I was starting to turn things around, right?
How old were you, if you don't mind me?
2011, I was 30. Okay, so everything I worked hard for, all the success you saw in my 20s, went down the drain for various reasons, and so I was restarting from scratch. And when I met her, I was so in awe by her personality and how she seemed very serious and all that. I was blunt with her because my wife had one boyfriend before me. Okay, she only had gone out with one guy before me, and the guy had two Oscar Ferraris, right? So when I met her, I didn't know. Like in my head, I'm like, if this is a gold digger, like I wanna shake that shit quickly. Like I want, right? Like I don't.
You don't have it anyway. Like,
Exactly. Exactly, right? So let's just. And I told her, listen, like that was probably the first time I saw her. Like after like the wedding, I went to Toronto to see her. Maybe a month later.
You would talk regularly on the phone, I'm guessing?
Yeah. After the wedding, it was almost like every day, right? But when I went to see her, I said, listen, this is my situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where I am. I have nothing.
This guy came about it like a businessman.
I
Yo.
told her. I said, listen.
These are my books.
Exactly, right? Exactly. This is my boy. But I told her, I know myself. I have a plan. I know where I'm going,
Man.
right? And I had debts. So, and then I had done. So once I became serious with her, I realized that I had to clean up my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if one day I want to marry her, buy a house back, like I had
Now
to,
it's not only for you; it's for
100%.
Her
both
and the
of you.
kids.
100%. So the first thing I did, I went to syndic, right? And I did a
Consolidation de dette.
consommateur, like a consumer's proposal. Ouais, c'est ça, consolidation de dette, right? And I remember it was like maybe 25,000, something like that. So it wasn't a crazy amount, but it was
It
still,
was big for us.
it's a lot for broke people.
Exactly.
Let's stop it now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you have $1,000 to your name, it's 25
There
times
you go, right?
whatever you have.
100%, right? And
That's cute. I had 125,000.
I remember we weren't even engaged yet.
Mm-hmm.
My wife goes, we weren't engaged yet. She comes to me one day with a check, $15,000 check.
She invested on him.
Yeah, no. Wait. It gets better.
Oh.
It gets better because that money.
Does she have a sister?
That money, she took it out of a line of credit. Ooh. She didn't even have it. That was borrowed money.
She's not good for finances, but her intentions were really
I mean,
amazing.
listen, what I'm saying
she
is-
really believed in you.
I paid her back like 3 months later.
No, I believe
right?
because I know you.
But what I'm
she
saying,
didn't know you that well.
But you exactly. That's exactly my point. Like in my head, I was looking at her, and the first thought that came to my mind is, "Are you a fucking idiot?"
Yeah. Because you would say to your daughter not to
in
do
the
it.
sense that I could have taken, like, if I was an asshole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So what I'm saying, I would have bolted, and that was it. She would have, she would have been $15,000 in debt on a line of credit, right? So that was the first thing, right? The second thing, and that, holy shit, like you know when you have those moments in life and you say, I better get my shit right. I better. That was one of them. So we got engaged. I had officially proposed to her, and I saved money, and I got her a decent ring, right? One night, we're going to bed. And I think you know this about me, I'm not sure, but I'm a watch guy. Like watches are my biggest weakness, right?
For a very long time.
Exactly. So I'm kind of ashamed to say, like I do dumb purchases with watches.
It's actually a good investment.
I know exactly.
Well, it was good during COVID, but it went down a
No,
little
yes,
bit.
but it's still good. Still good.
But like it still is, right? So like I will pay significant amount of money for watches. Now that I can afford them on top of that, it gets a bit
I would hope
dangerous,
so.
Right? So
On a line of credit.
exactly. This is my investment plan. I'm buying watches. So we go to bed, and she has a watch in her hand, and it's a man's watch. And I realized I thought it was one of, and back then I didn't have those fast, I had whatever watches I can afford,
yeah.
right? So I thought it was one of the watches that I had, and then I realized it's a gift. So she's presenting me. It was a what's called Omega.
Wow.
Okay.
That too, she put it on the line of credit.
Attends. So
Banks are loving her.
actually, no. That one was even more touching because my wife back then didn't do a big salary. We're talking 35, 40K. Like it wasn't anything. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. She saved for 18 months. Every month, putting money aside to buy
On
this watch.
layaway.
Shit, if she can actually save that much money
Yes.
in 18 months to buy an Omega,
Yes.
she's good with money.
Yes. But like, you understand what I'm saying? Because my first reaction
So she was wearing it for you to notice it, for her to offer it to you.
She wanted to.
I'm so jealous right now.
I'm saying half of the story. She'd be embarrassed, but the way she presented it to me, it was the only thing she was wearing.
Yeah.
But
That's not halal.
no, but because my first reflex, I got angry. Like why? Like in my head is, wait a minute. I know you cannot afford this.
You didn't think it was Amanda bought it to her? Or she took it from her? That would have been my first reflex. That's how paranoid I am. That's how paranoid I am.
You jaded.
Whose watch is that?
Exactly. You got a sugar daddy. But you one of you said something about compatible, and it's interesting because you really discover if you're compatible with somebody, not in good times. Enemies can be friends in
for
good
sure.
times, right? So for us, there was Guy, you've missed this before you came. We're just catching up, and I was telling him that when the twins came, the year the twins were born, 2018, it was a very dark year for us. Like, it's one of those years you go back and it's like you almost get PTSD. It was just a lot. And then our oldest son, I was telling him, our oldest son went through a really, really bad period where he started getting sick a lot. And then in one of the times, it escalated so badly that we had to rush him to the hospital. His ear, he woke up in the morning, his ear had popped like Dumbo. Like, imagine you're looking at your kid and the ear is completely popped off. And so he had something called, so there's a bone behind the ear called mastoidus, if I'm saying this right. And it's kind of a spongy bone. And there's a lot of holes in it, and it's made that way so that it kind of captures all the air and it kind of helps us process sound. But it's like a sponge. So on the other side, the brain is completely exposed. So my son was literally hours away of a full-blown bacterial meningitis. And I remember when he was at the hospital and the doctor comes and sees me, literally, and he looks at me. He's like, listen, I'm going to tell you something, and then you tell me if you want me to share it with your wife. Don't forget, my wife was still in postmortem. Like, she was still affected. Twins were barely 2-3 months old, right? Like, she was still in it. Shit. And then he comes and tells me the next 11 hours are going to be very critical for your son. And I'm looking at him like dumbfounded, like,
like you're not understanding.
like, no, like, and I'm like, okay, like, critical how? Right? And I'm a guy that studied like biology, right? So I should know something, but when it's your son, when it's your kid, right? And he's like, won't know if he's gonna pull through. And I realized there's a chance that I might lose my son that night. Like right?
That's some fucked up shit.
And so I don't think there is any bigger tragedy. So I have a cousin of mine, like
you
direct cousin.
Bury your children.
This is a correct cousin. This is not a like we have. We call everybody cousins,
Cousins,
right?
yeah.
I'm talking my uncle and my mom are brothers and sisters, right? Bernard, he's in Qatar. Last year, lost one of his twins, Rafael, because I have a son called Rafael too. His son Rafael lost him. He wasn't even 3 yet, right? And it's funny because I sent him a lot of messages, voice on WhatsApp. Us Arabs, we know all about WhatsApp, and Africans, right?
Yeah.
A lot of WhatsApp voices, a lot of messages, but I never got the courage to call him. And I told him on a message, I'm like, I am sorry. I feel like such a coward not calling you live, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, what do you tell someone that has lost a kid? There's nothing. There's nothing to say. So, knock on wood. God bless all of our kids. But when you go through something like that, almost a near death or a near misses, it's and I was telling my wife, I'm like, this is it. Like, I feel now. I'm not saying that my wife and I are guaranteed. Like, if you think that way, that's when things starts going sideways. I think you should always realize that things can always.
It's a work in progress.
Exactly. But the thing is, if we weren't compatible, that moment would have broke us. The strain that we had when we went through that, and then you add to that, you still have twins, right? You still have, like, every time
You still have to keep your head above
every
water.
time we went to the hospital, right? Because we went 3 times for him, and then there was 3 weeks after that episode. There was 3 weeks of going to the hospital twice a day for him to get IV directly in his veins.
So it wasn't an operation. It was just they had to attack the infection directly.
It was like, right? And the things orally, it didn't do anything. So by the time we were done, my son looked like a heroin addict because he had so many needles.
How was his energy and mood?
He is amazing, honestly. Like,
That's what I say. Kids, it's incredible.
They're so resilient, honestly. Like, we forget. They're so resilient. He's such a happy kid. He's so smart. He's such a great brother. Drives me crazy. Absolutely. Like, you know this. I've seen you with your kids, right? Like, listen, with your daughter, like, there's a one side. Sometimes you're like, man, I want to, right? And then a second later, right? Like, it's
full recovery, right?
full.
Okay.
Full,
for people to
full.
understand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Full. But yeah, so you go through that. You have work, you have the kids, my wife that is going through her postpartum depression. And men are assholes. Like I realized. Because we don't understand. Like we don't understand. Like I remember I used to get annoyed at my wife. Like, like there was a point I was like, well, what the like I used to get annoyed at like my mom had to remind me, you idiot. Your wife
man.
is going through something that
Yeah,
she can't.
man.
Yeah, man, right? Like you fucking idiot. Like my smacked me in the.
That's another thing that he has is family.
Yes.
And that's a lot of people that don't realize that. That's why when you have...
But they're honest, they're going to be straight to the point.
100%.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
But he understands their communication regardless. Even when she was talking about one of his twins knowing that he was on the spectrum and she's praying and everything, he knows, he's self-aware enough. That's when you love people and you can see
Of course.
behind the words.
The words, yeah.
Of
The
course.
purpose, the intention.
Especially
right?
your mother, because you understand
Of
where it comes
course.
from.
Exactly. Because me and my mom, sometimes we don't get along.
Always.
Like, I would-
my God. Like,
But
yeah.
I know it's coming from a good place.
and you know that no matter what, she will drop everything for you.
Oh,
Right? Like it's not even a question. And so that was, when we talk about a big period of adjusting for me when I came here. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that one way is better than another, but it made
Your
more
way.
sense to me. Right?
Your way.
No, but like like the a lot of Quebecois, right? Like it's when the kid hits a certain age, this is it. You're on your own. Now I think that for the kid, this could be a good experience, whatever. But like I can never fathom. Like in my head, like if my son is a bum, then that's something else, right? If my son is a bum, then I'm gonna do everything I can to help him get out of the slump that he's in, right? But if my son or my daughter, right, my sons or my daughter, if let's say they're in school and they're trying to do something for like themselves, you know what? If my son wants to be a PhD and he wants to go to school 10 years, right, and I can afford to sustain him for 10 years, man, there will never going to be a time where I'll tell my son, listen, boy, you're 25, get the fuck out, right? And again, maybe that's the wrong way.
I wish my kids would stay forever, but I know
Exactly. And
they're planning their exit.
And by the way, and that's amazing. Like if they want to fly out of their own wings, I will never stand in.
But they're always welcome back.
There's always
Absolutely.
a bedroom. There's always a door open. That's always going to be because my daughter's
The
already
funny
talking.
about your mom, I heard the house.
Yeah.
Wait, she leaves right now.
Sure.
My mom bought a house so big. She's like, eventually, this was before I even had kids.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she has a 7-bedroom
remember,
house.
yes, I remember when you
7-bedroom.
Yes,
I didn't live
remember
with my parents since 17 because they left the country.
Yes,
and
I
I
remember
decided
that.
to
Of
stay,
course.
right?
Yeah, of course.
So when they came back, my mom bought this humongous house, and I'm like, "Why are you buying this big house for?" She's like, eventually you're gonna come back, and your kids, they'll always have a place to stay. I'm like, but they just need a little, like, no. 7 bedrooms,
Yeah.
5 bathrooms. And then I stayed on my parents for a year to 2 years ago because my condo got delayed for the delivery.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never seen my parents and my kids the happiest.
Yeah.
The happiest.
Of course.
And to add to your journey, what's beautiful now, so you're in the mix of kids growing.
Yep. In it.
Yeah. And that's beautiful and amazing. Now, as we're growing older, I realize that I'm on the other side now of this Everest
Journey.
of a life.
This
Yeah,
journey, yeah.
Journey.
where, I was saying, my 20s, 30s, well, everybody was getting married.
Yep.
Right? That's how I was doing, marriages and the good events and then baby showers and kids.
Yeah. And now it's the opposite. Now it's people passing.
Exactly. And that hit me so hard when a
Yes.
good friend of mine lost his father. Then I was looking at my dad and I'm like, damn, he's not getting any younger.
100%.
So now I'm like, shit, I have to plan ahead for my parents.
Absolutely.
When I tell this to my mom, she's like, no, we're forever. I'm like, yeah, cool, but that's not the case.
Yep.
And then I realized this today, specifically today. I was at the gym with my son. I started the gym with him. It's been 2 weeks.
Your son is old when you be like, yeah, I was at a gym with my
I
son.
love it. Now, I'd love to see how he would present that story.
No,
If he'd
the
say it
same.
as-
He actually hugged me today and he's
No,
like, I
I'm
love
joking,
going to the
buddy.
gym
No,
with
I
you.
know.
No, because my son specifically
Yeah.
is very attached to his mom and to me.
That's amazing.
My daughter is a lot like me.
Yeah.
Very independent.
Yep.
So it pisses me off. There can only be one.
Yep.
But I'm not worried about her.
That's
but
exactly.
I feel like time is flying because now I'm like, shit, she has 1 year left in high school. She's ending sixth
Deja.
form. Yeah. So now she's talking about studying overseas. And me, I'm like, motherfucker. But when I was young, I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But then my parents left, so I was like overseas, technically speaking, living alone, right, with a company. So imagine. So I'm like, I want my kids to have what I couldn't have. So I'm like, in my head, I'm telling myself, yeah, anything. But at the same time, I'm telling her, I don't want you to leave me. And the thing is, because I'm single too, I literally live for my kids.
Of course.
And that's all I do. And
Absolutely.
before, they used to see me like this superhero, and everything I said was great. Now everything's
Now
a
you
great
just the
debate.
guy that sleep in that room.
Yeah,
over
no,
there.
but now everything's a great debate. I can say something and she'll Google fact check it and have a conversation with it. She has a full on opinion.
yeah.
And it pisses me off, but at the same time, I'm super proud of her because her thought process makes sense.
Absolutely.
She's not a dumb where, I read this on TikTok.
But tell me then, I have a situation with my daughter where I'm actually want her to be independent, like to do her own or whatever. But she's 4.5. She's gonna be 5.
Yeah.
And she's the type of girl she'd be like, she was on vacation with her mother, and she just left. And they start freaking out looking for her, blah, blah, blah. And like 10 minutes after she came back, they're like, where were you? She's like, I went to the bathroom. Like I just went to go take
Without
it.
asking her mom.
Without asking my mom.
You better be worried, buddy. My kids were always scared. We're
Mine,
always scared.
she's like the other day, last Friday, I was at an event. I had to go set up a book because I have photo booths too as a business. I had to go set up photo booths for one lady, and I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So she was like a handicap bathroom, so like just one person.
Yeah.
Usually she comes with me, she stays in. She's like, no, Daddy, I want to wait for you outside. I'm like, why? She's like, because I want to wait for you. I don't want to go inside with you. I'm like, but would you stay? She's like, yeah, you should trust me. I will stay here. And I'm like,
But that's beautiful.
I know, and I don't want to stop it. So I'm like, okay, I trust you. Don't prove me wrong. And I closed the door. I opened the door. She wasn't exactly where I left her. She was like 5 feet away. But she was
Yeah, she's
still-
curious. But
Yeah.
curiosity is something that is amazing. Now, especially at a 5-year-old, everything is big, giant, and new, right? Especially if you bring her to these events. She sees different people, different events, socializing. Since my kids are born, we're surrounded by people, different cultures, different nationalities. So my kids could never be racist. Impossible.
Yep.
They cannot be ignorant when it comes to religion because I have a Jew, an atheist, a Christian, a Muslim all together. We do different sports. We eat different foods, Indian food, Japanese food, whatever, Peruvian food, whatever you want. I tried because that's me. I love to try different things.
Absolutely.
So my son at first was like, I don't like. I'm like, did you taste? He's like, no. I'm like, taste? And then if you don't like, we stop.
Yeah.
And since then, till this day now, I didn't realize it how it would grow on them, but it became their character.
Absolutely.
Now, my son knew I was going to the gym. And he's like, Dad, I'm skinny. I'm like, yo, give yourself time. You're 14, you're 5'10", you're going to be tall. You're going to be taller than me. I'm not just hoping my kids are a better version than me. And my daughter does boxing now.
That's
It's
amazing.
been 2 years.
That's amazing.
It's been 2 years. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I was like, it's good for stress. She stresses a lot for school because she doesn't like to disappoint and she has plans. So when school is stressful and she questions everything, that's another thing. She's a lot like me, but more with
raw.
No, but it's a new version of 2024.
Like a critical thinking type.
Yeah, but with the issues of 2024,
Of course,
right?
of course.
So what happens is because she's born here and that's all she knows, she has a lot of immigrant friends. And you have to determine in what situation. So the Palestine thing happens. She looks at me, she's like, that's not fair what's going on. I'm like, yes. But I'm like, you have to understand that this is the way of men. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying you can't be fully emotionally invested in this because it's been going on forever. It's not because it's a hot topic that it makes it more important, right? Because somebody came up today on the news saying that if you support Ukraine, you must support Palestine.
Yep.
And I'm,
Absolutely. No,
Makes
no,
sense.
but by the way, we've been talking about this. That's the double standard, right?
that's the double standard,
That's double standard.
right?
No, if you support Ukraine, you should support Israel.
No.
No.
For me,
No,
that would be
because
Because
Israel-
from a point of view of victimization.
Yeah, of course.
Against the
Oh,
boogie monster.
of course.
You see,
Boogeyman.
Exactly,
you were going
right?
politics. We're
See?
going humane side.
Exactly. Right?
Right? Russia's the big boogie monster.
Right. Exactly.
And Israel is the big boogie monster
monster.
for Palestine.
But I understand the both, especially.
No, one has, support.
Yes.
The other don't. But they have from the.
But I mean, the idea is
Yeah.
exactly right. Like when you look at it's like a David and
David and Goliath.
David and Goliath, exactly. So you're right. Anyways, I don't want to veer into
No,
that.
no,
yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. So when I talk to my kids and I'm like, oh, I have to give it to them lightly. And then she starts questioning, but politics, extreme right, extreme left, this, and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, you have to understand how things go. And sadly, humanity, you're always the hero until you lose and then you become the villain in the story. And this whole thing about territories and land, I'm like, our country, Algeria, before all these little lines in the sand that didn't exist
Before
prior.
the French were
The Arabs, and
absolutely.
the Persian, Peuple Ottoman and all that.
Yeah, l'Empire
So I'm like,
Ottoman, yeah.
you can go through history and you're going to see that there's always a big bad wolf and somebody that gets eaten at the end of the day. Now, is it fair? No, it's not fair. But I'm like, we cannot be hypocrites in the sense that you have to understand what's going on. I'm like, because deep down, we're all part of the problem.
100%.
I'm like, I'm walking with an iPhone. We know they're made in sweatshops. I have Nikes on my feet.
100%.
So I'm not going to come and act here, for humanity and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
but you
blah.
drive a Tesla, so you have the.
Again, even Tesla, we know probably
We know
in the end.
how we get
we're
those lithium batteries.
You know what? I literally think what you just said, Sin. Honestly, I really think it summarizes it all. And this is my issue. Is anybody that takes an extreme position about something or tries to portray themselves holier than they are, but then they're holding an iPhone or a Samsung.
You're a hypocrite.
Shut the fuck up, go home.
Exactly.
Like, this is it. Like, I'm done.
Like, we're all part of the problem.
Like I am not pretend. Like, this is the thing, right? Like, I could take positions about things, but I don't pretend that I'm better than anybody because I'm not. Right? The reality is, I know, like, every car that I own, right, is probably funding some sort of war or some sort of problem somewhere, right?
Yep.
So like, this is what I'm saying, right? So I have a friend of mine that I love and I respect a lot, and it's funny. He was one of those far left, but like anti-establishment,
Government, yeah.
anti-US, anti-US, very anti-imperialism, anti-US. Believed that Russia was right in everything, right? Like, more on the communist side of things. It's fine, but then it's funny. Then I'm looking. I'm like, bruh, you work at TELUS. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but people have tendency of pointing the finger.
Of course,
without,
of
you
course.
know-
But what I'm saying is, at least recognize, right? Like, at least
Don't be
recognize.
hypocrite. Like,
Like,
on
but
the,
this is like what I'm saying.
They don't own up to their shit.
This is what I'm saying, right?
yeah, I'm a vegan. I don't kill animal. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But how do they do those things?
No, but that's the thing. Nobody has clean hands. Now you can pick and choose your battles.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, all this is somewhat of a selfish way for you to sleep well at night.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That we.
And that's the thing. That's why this podcast pretty much grew out of this, where it's a platform for anybody to share a thought and opinion.
Yep.
We're not here to agree. We're just here to give
Absolutely.
different perspectives.
100%.
Now, at the end of the day, if I can give you a different angle and you can give me a different angle and I can learn something, by all means, let's do
Absolutely.
this. But I would never dare and come and say, this is the truth. This is the solution.
Absolutely.
And yours is wrong and mine is right.
And that's extremism, by the way. And that's when we
Yeah.
were talking about, like, that's